So much of the theater games were these movement games. A lot of it was dancing.
A lot of touching.
A lot of touching.
Oh.
Poor thing usually is said about someone that you pity. Does that mean that we are to pity Emma Stone's Bella Baxter character?
No, it's everyone around her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, I jumped in.
No, you're right. And it's funny. No one's ever, clocked the title before, but I think it's a beautiful title. Beautiful. She's the truth teller. She's the innocent that is not conditioned because of how she enters the world. And that's what's beautiful. And she's a credible truth teller. So we're with her. And one of the pleasures of the movie, I think, is you see all the things that oppress us, and we recognize ourselves in some of these situations. That's what's liberating ultimately about the movie too, I think.
I think I always thought humans, poor things. They're just like, we're idiots, kind of, but charming idiots who
I don't
are trying
think, though,
their best.
it's Bella Baxter.
I don't think I think about it as everybody else, not her.
To me, it kind of comes from just the things that society puts on somebody. I thought what was so cool about putting Emma at an older physical age, but a different mental one, made it really clear, the things that we put on people over the years, and especially that we put on women over the years as they grow. And then they're just kind of conditioned to be a certain way, and you kind of meet this person who doesn't have the conditioning, And so I think there's a little bit of that, oh, poor you're kind of not equipped. But I think the fact that she hasn't been equipped is what's so cool, because she's able to kind of push past it.
Bella. Why I keep it in my mouth if it is revolting?
Poor Things, it strikes such a specific comedic tone. It's dirty, sexy, it's smart and silly at the same time. How'd you work with director Yorgos Lanthimos to nail that tone? Was there a limit or a place you feel you could actually go too far?
Yorgos is masterful, and he created a world that was so clear, so articulate, that as you enter it, you have a pretty good idea what the behavior is, what the parameters are. You know what can be held and what can be going too far. With me, it's just about, being fluid, being present, and not sitting in anything and not pointing at anything. A complex relationship that's always evolving through the film. You play scene by scene.
We had this rehearsal process that was 3 weeks of really just playing. We probably spent maybe 20% on the actual script, if that.
Less.
And it was mostly just playing and doing theater games. So all of the theater games that we were doing were sort of moving towards what this crazy vision would be and how the style of it would be. Yeah, there's a lot, it was very intimate, it really broke the ice. I mean, in ways that you normally would never do, maybe on set, but that's, only on very special occasions, obviously.
Why do people not do this all the time?
We do this, process of just playing games and getting to know each other and having a laugh and just feeling comfortable with each other. And I think that transfers to the atmosphere of the set. That gave them the foundation to, be free to create and not feel self-conscious about anything. I think it freed them in trying things that maybe they wouldn't if they were scared of where they were going, but I think they felt safe with each other and the set, that they were, able to just go to places and try things out and explore.
Bella's so much to discover.
The writing, first of all, was so good. I mean, Tony's script was so funny, and I've been a huge Yorgos fan, truly organically, not even just because I've worked with him. It was one of those things where someone said, do you want to work with him? I said, yeah, and then I assumed when I would get the script that I wouldn't understand it, because I love all his films so much, but I'm always like, what did this even look like on paper? And then, you read it and it's just so clearly hilarious. And so all we had to do was just show up and be honest and have fun. And nothing ever felt like it was going too far, because I think the story was so well crafted. And, Emma is so stunning in how she tracked the character that it was really fun to just play off of.
I find myself nearly jealous of the men's time with you, rather than any moral aspersion against you.
Well, first of all, we worked from a novel by Alistair Gray, and that has its own tone and characters and very specific story. And then, you know, working with Tony has, you know, his voice as well that he can bring. And, you know, I have a way of, you know, dealing with the actual scene and performances. And then we have these incredible actors that can enrich, you know, whatever we've written on the page. So it's just like a, you know, a very collaborative process.
We spend a lot of time together shaping towards the end, and it will be like, oh, is that more like the balance of like, if he's here too dramatic for too long, and like, you know, making sure that we're kind of keeping a kind of unified tone, I guess. It is instinct and it is like rhythm, and it is then the actors on set with Yorgos kind of building that, you know.
A man over there repeated blinks at me. I blinked back, for polite, I think.
I heard, Mark, that you joke that you tried to fire yourself off of this movie and suggested Joaquin Phoenix as a replacement for yourself.
Well, he would have been amazing. He's the greatest.
Did you think you'd fall short in playing this scoundrel of a character?
No, I don't feel like I fell short, and I feel like once I just get over my own, you know, insane, crazy insecurity.
From day one, he made me laugh so much, from even rehearsals. I loved watching Mark so much, and he's so brilliant in this. There's an insecurity in his character as well. It's just kind of an extension or a kind of playing with persona and feelings that he's familiar with. But look at him right now. I mean, he's made a brilliant performance, and he's talking about how insecure he was. I mean, that's in the performance. That's an important element in this blowhard guy that comes on strong, but really doesn't have the stuff, you know?
Absolutely.
When he tells him that, you know, he's the best at sex that there ever was, you don't exactly believe him, right? That's probably a boast.
Well, I don't know.
He believes me. He turns out to be not quite what he thought he was.
I don't know.
You shouldn't know. I never would say that kind of thing. The guy who does say that kind of thing is usually the guy who doesn't quite have it.
I guess that's what I was pointing at. Yeah.
To be honest, I didn't expect the scale of which this character would become so horrific and funny and ridiculous and pathetic and kind of likable in a way, because the way he does it and the way he is and his presence. I think he took it, you know, to a level that I never expected. I always knew he's a great actor. I knew he could be funny and do it and complex actor, but like the level to which he took it, that surprised me in the beginning, to be honest.
You're playing it down to earth, but then, you know, you're playing opposite Emma, who is doing this just wildly original character. What was that interplay like?
I think what was so great is that my character and Emma's meet in this really honest, kind of sweet and tender place. Everything between them is really genuine and really tender compared to a lot of the insanity that surrounds them. And so there was this kind of feeling of like home base in the performance between, you know, her and I, not just for our characters, but I think for the film. And I think it was really cool to kind of ground the film there, and in a lot of ways, you know, every character is pretty crazy in this, but I would say that Max, my character, is maybe the one that's most like the audience. And so I think it was kind of cool to be able to, you know, see this whole story through that lens and kind of anchor that with her.
We will need less of your tongue in the future, but overall most agreeable.
You two never fail to surprise an audience. Are you looking to push those boundaries, or are you just finding what interests you?
I think what interests, and also like what's telling her story. Obviously, you know, we have a sensibility, and the novel had a sensibility that is surprising. But I think it's like, how do we tell this story in the way that's going to be exciting and fun to write it, and for Yorgos and the actors to make it, and, you know.
Yeah, I think it would be, you know, a disaster if you're trying to capture, you know, every individual's, you know, sense of what they perceive as surprising or funny or, you know, dramatic. I mean, you just can't do that. It's kind of a lost cause. So you have to go by your own instincts.
Well, was there anything then that Tony brought to it that surprised you, Yorgos?
The script.
Yeah.
Ideas are banging around in Bella's head and heart like lights in a storm.
One thing I heard Emma say was that whenever she saw Yorgos call for the fisheye lens, she knew that what she was doing on set maybe wasn't working exactly the way that he wanted. Did you find that to be the case?
No, I didn't read into it. I didn't see too much of the lens being a barometer for anything. I think, you know, especially seeing the way that he edited the film, you know, he's obviously such a master, but it's so cool to see how intentional every frame of the film is. And so I think that's probably Emma being hard on herself, because she was pretty stellar every take. Yeah.
It is the goal of all to progress, grow.
The Poor Things trailers, they don't reveal where Bella Baxter got her new brain. Is that something that you like to keep a mystery before a person goes in to see it?
I'd love to for people to just go cold and experience this story, you know, with as little information possible, because I think that's the joy of, you know, listening to a story for the first time, watching a story for the first time, reading something for the first time. It's just that joy of, you know, getting the information bit by bit and being, you know, excited by it and all that. So I understand there's like a, you know, there's a machine that works in some way, and you need to, you know, make people intrigued about, you know, going to see a movie, but hopefully you won't spoil it for them and show, you know, too much.
Where did she come from?
Yorgos is yet to reveal a lot to me. I mean, he, you know, even to this day, there's a lot that I don't know that I think he told me he'll tell me when I'm older and I'm ready to kind of handle, you know, some of the information that he's got going on. So, you know, it was, I mean, it was all really clear, just in the sense of, you know, what we were tracking for her. But I think, you know, this is one of those movies that the less you know, I think the more fun you'll have.